Hi, how you doing? I'm KB. I am the manager of school facilities for Santana High School. So the approach has been unanimous up front. Safety is the #1 concern for everything. So I think the most difficult and challenging part of bringing kids back on campus is just really the unknowns of COVID. So we try to go above and beyond of doing everything that we can. So bringing kids back at 25%, that was introduced to us by the district. And really the big thing was, how are we going to do that? So it really starts from looking at it from the beginning of the day through the end of the day. So it starts off in the morning with staff and students coming in with temperature checks. What are we going to do for temperature checks? We have designated areas, and then we also went with the sticker system just to inform teachers that students have been pre-screened to enter the classrooms. Goes throughout the day of working with a lot of the teachers on their individual classrooms, on creating the color coding system that you guys go in now. So each group is designated a color, so that way it ensures only one student uses a desk per day. So there's no shared space, no shared equipment. Really trying to do everything we can to limit the probability of anyone getting sick. Put a lot of different procedures in place as well, working with the custodial crew. Quite frankly, they need to get a lot of credit because they've been working their tails off the past 6 months, really preparing the campus, getting everything ready. But we have our day crew that goes into the high traffic areas, so a lot of the door handles, restrooms, spraying all those down. And then also in the evening, we have our night crew really disinfect and sanitizing the entire campus on the daily. So, those are a lot of the big things that we do. And we're also looking for other opportunities if there's something else that we can do in addition to that. Really maximize the safety for everyone. We're all about it.
COVID been different from how you've been teaching normally in previous years?
It's very different, and I think much more difficult, because normally in class you can guide your class, you can inspire them, you can do all these great activities, and when you are forced in pure distance learning, it was very difficult to be able to connect to your students because you're looking at them through a screen rather than being able to see them face to face. Now that we're in this kind of modified learning, it's slightly better because we can do some things together in class, but it's still very difficult because part of teaching is developing a personal relationship with your student, understanding them and being able to help them, and that has been more difficult to create in these situations.
Has teaching during distance learning changed the way you teach at all, personally?
Yes. Normally I don't use as much technology as we're sort of forced to use now. And normally I do a lot of interactive things, and the kids are in groups, and we get to communicate in that way. We can't do that. We're physically not allowed to do that. So it has forced me to redo a lot of activities, make them more individual, use technology, use the computers more in class than I would normally do. I like to do things on paper usually, and do a lot of person-to-person action, and that's not really happening in this scenario. It has to be using more technology, and so that's the biggest way I think that it's changed. It's also a little more frustrating as a teacher, I think, to teach this way, because you can't get that full class feeling. When you have a class of 36 kids and you're debating or discussing something, there's a lot of energy in the class, and that's something that's difficult to recreate when you have 6, 7, 8 students in a class.
How has student behavior been during distance learning compared to in-class learning?
Student behavior in Zoom is difficult to even be able to gauge because you usually can't see them. They normally have their cameras off, which makes it difficult. So it's hard to know if they're interacting with you, if they're paying attention. They could have their signed into Zoom and then disappeared. So that makes it difficult. In class, they've been fantastic. Since we've come back, I think students have been eager to come back and eager to kind of have in-class instruction. Their behavior has been amazing. They've been involved, they've been volunteering, they've been talking. So that's the difference is night and day.